In today's world, words come cheap. I love you can be said by anyone, often without weight, often without truth. But when a man is genuinely serious about you, it's not his words that prove it. It's the quiet consistency of his actions. Love that's real doesn't have to shout. It simply shows up. It reveals itself in gestures, patterns, and moments that most people overlook. You see, a man who's truly invested in you doesn't just want to be near you. He wants to understand you. He listens when you speak, remembers what matters to you, and protects your peace like it's his own. He's not in a hurry to impress. He's in it to build. There's no guessing game, no emotional roller coaster, no confusion disguised as passion. Instead, there's steadiness, the kind that feels like home after a long day. When he's serious, he doesn't keep you hidden or uncertain. He doesn't text you only when it's convenient or disappear when things get complicated. He includes you in his plans, introduces you to his people, and makes space for you in his life. Naturally, not as an afterthought. His love doesn't demand constant reassurance, because it gives reassurance through presence. He doesn't say, "Trust me." He earns it, one day at a time. True commitment isn't about dramatics. It's about devotion. It's when he notices your silence before your words, when he chooses to talk through conflict instead of walking away, when he respects your boundaries, even when he wishes they weren't there. That's love in its most honest form. Not controlling, not loud, but deeply intentional. A man's seriousness shows in what he remembers, how he listens, and how he shows up when no one's watching. It's in how he protects your reputation, values your time, and celebrates your victories as if they're his own. It's in his transparency. No games, no masks, no mystery for the sake of ego. Just real connection. Because real love isn't about perfection. It's about effort. The effort to stay, to communicate, to grow. It's about being emotionally available even when it's uncomfortable. It's about the willingness to see you in your rawest moments and not flinch. So if you ever find yourself questioning whether his feelings are genuine, stop listening to what he says for a moment and start watching what he does. Does he show up when you need him? Does he make you feel chosen, not tolerated? Does he listen, protect, respect, and build with you? Because when a man is serious about you, his love becomes visible, even in silence. It's not written in poetry or promised in words. It's felt in how he treats you, every single day. These are 15 ways he shows he's serious about you, without telling you. Each one may seem small on its own, but together, they form the language of genuine, grounded love. The kind that doesn't just speak, it proves. He remembers the smallest things you say, the ones even you forget. When a man is serious about you, it shows in the way he listens, not the kind of listening where he just nods along, but the kind where he quietly stores away every little thing you say. You might casually mention your favorite snack, a childhood story, or how you once loved sitting by the window when it rains. Weeks later, he'll bring it up, not to impress you, but because it stayed with him. This kind of remembering isn't about memory, it's about attention. In a world full of distractions, choosing to remember someone's words is an act of care. It means he values what you say, not because it's useful or dramatic, but because it came from you. That's the kind of detail people forget when they're playing games, but hold on to when they're building something real. When he recalls your offhand comments, it's a glimpse into his emotional focus. It shows he's not listening to reply. He's listening to understand. He's mapping your world. What makes you smile? What quiets your thoughts? What breaks your heart? This habit also reflects emotional safety. You've made such an impression that your words feel like home to him. The way he brings them up later, softly, unexpectedly, tells you everything you need to know. It's not about grand gestures or constant texting. Sometimes the most powerful sign of love is simple. He remembers. Because in love, remembering the small things isn't small at all. It's the quiet proof that you matter deeply. He makes future plans that naturally include you, without hesitation. When a man is truly serious about you, his view of the future shifts, subtly but unmistakably. You'll notice it not because he sits you down for a grand speech, but because his plans start to sound like we instead of I. Without even realizing it, he begins to weave you into his upcoming days, weeks, and even years. It's in the small details. We should try that new restaurant next month. Or, when I get that new job, we'll celebrate together. This natural inclusion is one of the clearest signs of emotional investment. He's not testing you or keeping his options open. He's already picturing a future where you're part of his rhythm. There's no hesitation, no awkward pause before he says your name. It feels easy, fluid, and real. Because when a man sees you as temporary, his language stays in the present. But when he sees you as permanent, his words start to stretch toward tomorrow. He makes choices with your comfort in mind, not because he's obligated, but because you've become part of his internal compass. He'll think about what you'd enjoy, where you'd fit, or how you'd feel. It's not about control. It's about connection. And the beauty is, he doesn't do it to impress you. He does it because he can't imagine a version of his life where you're not there. His plans grow roots, and your name is part of the soil. That's not just love. That's intention. ChatGPT said 3. He defends you in rooms you're not even in. One of the purest signs that a man is serious about you is how he speaks. About you when you're not around. When someone truly values you, he doesn't just show love when it's easy or convenient. He shows loyalty when it's unseen. If someone makes a careless comment about you, mocks something personal, or questions your intentions, he steps in, calmly but firmly. Not to create drama, but to draw a line. You're not someone he allows to be disrespected. Defending you in your absence means he sees your worth even when there's no reward for it. He's not doing it for validation or praise. In fact, you may never even know it happened, but others will. They'll start to understand that you're not just someone he likes. You're someone he stands for. This quiet loyalty speaks volumes about his integrity. It shows that his affection isn't built on appearance or convenience. When people protect your name behind your back, it means your presence has touched their conscience. And when a man does this consistently, it's a reflection of how deeply he respects you. He understands that love isn't only about affection, it's also about honor. He makes sure your name carries the same respect in his world that your presence carries in his heart. That's not performance, that's protection. And when a man defends you in rooms you're not in, he's telling the world, and himself, that you're someone worth keeping, even when no one's watching. He listens to understand, not just to reply. When a man is serious about you, his listening feels different. It's not rushed, it's not distracted. He's not waiting for his turn to speak. He's absorbing what you say. You can see it in his eyes, in the way his expression softens when you talk. He isn't trying to win the conversation or fix everything instantly. He's trying to feel what you feel. That kind of listening is rare, and it's one of the strongest signs of emotional maturity. Listening to understand means he values your perspective, even when it challenges his own. When you're upset, he doesn't minimize it by saying, "You're overreacting." Instead, he asks, "What made you feel that way?" He's not there to silence your emotions. He's there to hold space for them. That's how you know he's not just interested in you, he's invested in your peace. This type of attention shows emotional intelligence, the ability to see beyond words and hear the heart behind them. When you talk, he leans in. When you pause, he waits. When you finish, he reflects back what he heard, making sure he truly understood. That's not a conversation. That's connection. And in a world full of noise, being truly heard feels like love in its purest form. So when he listens not to reply but to understand, it's his silent way of saying, "Your voice matters to me. Your feelings matter to me. You matter to me." He respects your boundaries even when he wishes they weren't there. A man who's serious about you understands that love without respect isn't love at all. When you tell him where your lines are, emotional, physical, or personal, he doesn't push, argue, or guilt you into changing them. Instead, he honors them, even when it's inconvenient for him, even when he wants more time, more closeness, or more answers, because he knows that real intimacy begins with trust, not pressure. Respecting your boundaries means he's not just in this for what he can get. He's in it for who you are. He values your comfort more than his curiosity. He sees your no not as rejection, but as an act of honesty. And that's how you know you're safe with him, because your limits don't threaten him. They guide him. This kind of man doesn't test your boundaries. He protects them. If you need space, he gives it without resentment. If you ask for time, he waits without guilt tripping you. He understands that trust built under pressure is fragile, but trust built through patience lasts. And yes, sometimes you'll see it in his eyes. That quiet moment of restraint when he clearly wants to move closer but doesn't. That's not weakness. That's self-control born from respect. It's his way of saying, I want you to feel safe choosing me, not cornered into it. When a man respects your boundaries, even when it costs him comfort, he's proving something far deeper than attraction. He's proving his character. He introduces you to people who matter to him, family, mentors, friends. When a man starts including you in the circle of people who shaped him, it's more than just an introduction. It's an invitation into his world. He's showing you that you're not just someone he spends time with. You're someone he wants to fit into the bigger picture of his life. This gesture may seem simple, but in truth, it's one of the most vulnerable things a man can do. Men are often protective of their inner circles, their family, their closest friends, their mentors. These are the people who've seen their unfiltered sides. So when he brings you in, it means he's ready for you to see him without filters too. He's not afraid for you to witness how he behaves in front of the people who know him best. This step also signals accountability. By introducing you to those who matter, he's making his intentions known. He's no longer keeping you hidden or in the maybe zone. He's proudly placing you where his real life exists. It's his way of saying, you're not a secret. You're someone I'm proud to stand beside. Watch the little details. How he talks about you when you're not there. How his friends treat you. How his family welcomes you. Those subtle interactions reflect the depth of his sincerity. A man who's serious about you doesn't just want you in his present. He's slowly weaving you into his future network of belonging. When he opens those doors, it's not about formality. It's about faith. He's showing you that his world has space for you in it, not just for now, but for the long run. He's consistent, no random disappearances or sudden coldness. Consistency is one of the clearest, yet most underrated signs that a man is serious about you. When a man truly values you, he doesn't leave you wondering where you stand. His energy doesn't fluctuate based on convenience or mood. He doesn't shower you with attention one week and vanish the next. Instead, his presence is steady, calm, reliable, and real. Being consistent means he values stability over excitement. He's not chasing temporary highs or playing emotional games. He understands that real connection grows in routine, in showing up again and again, even when life gets busy. You don't have to question his intentions, because his actions speak the same language every day. I'm here. This doesn't mean he's perfect. It means he's emotionally mature enough to communicate when he's struggling instead of disappearing. He doesn't punish you with silence or distance. He knows that trust isn't built through words, but through patterns. When a man's feelings are genuine, his warmth doesn't suddenly turn cold. He doesn't make you earn reassurance or beg for attention. His presence feels predictable, not in a boring way, but in a safe one. Because love that lasts isn't built on intensity, it's built on consistency. So if he calls when he says he will, if his tone doesn't change after an argument, if he shows up the same way on good days and bad, that's not just reliability, that's emotional security. That's a man who's not trying to impress you for a season. He's trying to keep you for a lifetime. He notices when your mood changes and checks in gently. When a man is truly serious about you, he doesn't need you to explain every emotion. He feels it. He pays attention to your energy, your tone, the tiny shifts in your silence. Maybe you're quieter than usual, or your smile doesn't reach your eyes. He notices. Not because he's paranoid, but because he's present. The difference between someone who likes you and someone who cares deeply is empathy. A man who's invested in you doesn't ignore your bad days or pretend not to notice when something's wrong. Instead, he checks in softly, not demanding answers, not forcing you to talk, but simply letting you know he's there. Sometimes it's a gentle, "You seem quiet today, everything okay?" Or even a quiet hug that says, "You don't have to say it, I see it." That sensitivity comes from emotional attunement, the ability to read you beyond words. He's tuned in to your emotional frequency and he adjusts instead of reacting. If you need space, he gives it without resentment. If you need comfort, he provides it without judgment. This kind of awareness shows that you matter to him on a deeper level. He's not just chasing your laughter, he's staying through your silence. And that's the mark of real care. Not someone who only shows up for your light, but someone who notices when the light dims and quietly helps you find it again. Because love isn't always about grand gestures. Sometimes it's about the quiet understanding that says, "I notice when you're not okay, and I'm not going anywhere." He wants to grow with you, not just be around you. When a man is serious about you, he doesn't just want to exist beside you. He wants to evolve with you. His love isn't stagnant, it's forward-moving. He's not content with surface-level comfort or temporary harmony. Instead, he sees the relationship as a partnership, a journey where both of you can become better versions of yourselves together. You'll notice this in the way he talks about goals and challenges. He doesn't see your ambitions as competition. He celebrates them. When you doubt yourself, he reminds you of your strength. When you grow, he grows with you. That's because real love isn't about possession. It's about progress. He's not intimidated by your independence or success. In fact, he's inspired by it. He encourages you to chase your dreams, to heal from your past, and to reach higher than you did before. And he holds himself to the same standard, constantly trying to improve, communicate better, love deeper. A man who wants to grow with you doesn't fear change. He embraces it because he knows that lasting relationships evolve. He understands that growth might mean uncomfortable conversations, learning new emotional languages, or facing mistakes honestly. But he's willing because you're worth the effort. He doesn't just say, "We've come far." He asks, "Where can we go next?" That's the difference between attachment and commitment. One wants to keep things easy. The other wants to build something meaningful. So when he pushes you toward your best self while holding your hand through it, know this. He's not just being around you, he's building a life with you. 10. He's transparent about his life. No secrets, no guessing games. When a man is serious about you, you'll never have to play detective. There's no hidden agenda, no cryptic behavior, no half answers that leave you overthinking. He's open, not just about the good parts of his life, but the complicated ones too. You don't have to dig for truth, because he offers it willingly. That's what emotional safety looks like. Transparency doesn't mean he overshares everything. It means he's honest where it matters. You know where he stands, what he feels, and what he's going through. He doesn't vanish when things get hard. He lets you in. He talks about his past without fear, his dreams without filters, and his flaws without shame. Because he's not trying to impress you. He's trying to trust you. This openness is one of the clearest signs of emotional maturity. It shows he's not living a double life or keeping you at arm's length. When a man includes you in the real parts of his world, his family, his work, his struggles, he's building a foundation that's real, not performative. He tells you where he's going, who he's with, and what he's dealing with, not because you ask, but because it feels natural to keep you in the loop. He doesn't play hot and cold, doesn't make you decode his silences, and doesn't hide behind excuses. And that's the difference between attraction and commitment. Attraction makes you curious. Commitment makes you secure. When he's transparent, he's saying, "You deserve to know the truth, because I see you as part of my truth." 1. He values your time and never makes you feel like an option. When a man is truly serious about you, your time becomes precious to him, not something he takes for granted or fits into his schedule when it's convenient. He respects your hours, your plans, and your priorities. He doesn't cancel at the last minute or disappear for days, expecting you to wait. Instead, he shows you through consistency and care that your presence in his life matters. Valuing your time means he treats it like a reflection of you. He knows that every moment you give him is a piece of your energy, something you'll never get back. So he handles it with gratitude, not entitlement. He doesn't make you chase attention or wonder when you'll see him next. You never feel like a backup plan, because to him, you're not an option. You're the choice. You'll notice it in the little things. He shows up when he says he will. He plans ahead instead of waiting for you to remind him, and he makes space for you even when life gets busy. That's not convenience. That's commitment. A man who values you doesn't measure effort by what's easy. He invests time because he knows that love without effort fades quickly. He listens when you talk, remembers your schedule, and makes sure his actions align with his words. And most importantly, he never leaves you waiting in uncertainty. Because when a man is serious, he doesn't keep you guessing where you stand. He makes it clear through how he prioritizes you, with respect, reliability, and the quiet message that says, "You're not one of many. You're the one I choose, every time." 12. He celebrates your wins as if they're his own. When a man is serious about you, your success never threatens him. It energizes him. He doesn't compete, compare, or shrink away when you shine. Instead, his eyes light up like it's his own victory, because in his heart, your growth doesn't take anything away from him. It adds to what you're building together. He's the one cheering the loudest when you achieve something, whether it's small or life-changing. Maybe it's an exam, a promotion, or even something as simple as you setting a personal boundary for the first time. He notices it all. He doesn't respond with jealousy or indifference. He responds with pride, real pride, the kind that comes from genuine love, not possession. This kind of man understands that being with a strong, growing partner doesn't make him smaller. It makes the relationship richer. He doesn't say, "That's good for you," with detachment. He says, "I'm so proud of you," and means every word. He might even celebrate more than you do, reminding you to pause and appreciate what you've accomplished. When he's emotionally invested, your joy becomes shared energy. Your happiness becomes his happiness. He supports your ambitions, not because it benefits him, but because it fulfills him to see you succeed. That's what separates love from ego. He doesn't need to outshine you. He wants to rise with you. And in those moments when he looks at you, smiling at your triumphs, what he's really saying without words is simple but powerful. We're on the same team, and your win is my win too. He invests emotionally, not just romantically. When a man is truly serious about you, his connection goes far beyond sweet words, late-night messages, or grand gestures. He's not just interested in romance. He's invested in understanding you. He wants to know what makes you laugh, what breaks you down, and what heals you after a hard day. He's not chasing excitement. He's building emotional intimacy, something that lasts when the spark fades. An emotionally invested man shows up when it's inconvenient. He listens when you're quiet, not just when you're cheerful. He doesn't disappear when things get messy or confusing. Instead, he stays patient, present, and real. Because for him, love isn't about perfection. It's about partnership. He asks about your dreams, your fears, your childhood, and your future. He wants to understand how you see the world, not to change it, but to fit within it. He doesn't only say, "I love you." He proves it by making emotional space for you, by being there when you're overwhelmed, by giving you stability when you doubt yourself. This kind of man isn't addicted to the feeling of love. He's committed to the work of it. He knows emotions require effort to listen, to empathize, to communicate. And he gives that effort freely, not out of obligation, but out of care. When a man invests emotionally, he's telling you, without fanfare, that he's in this for the long run. Because passion might start the fire, but emotional depth keeps it alive. And his quiet consistency whispers the truth every woman deserves to hear. I don't just want your heart. I want to understand it. 4. He communicates during conflicts instead of walking away. When a man is serious about you, disagreements don't scare him. Silence does. He understands that conflict isn't the end of love. It's an opportunity to deepen it. Instead of shutting down, disappearing, or pretending everything is fine, he chooses to stay present. He listens, speaks with honesty, and tries to understand before reacting. That's not just maturity. That's commitment in motion. A man who communicates during conflict values the relationship more than his ego. He doesn't fight to win, he fights to heal. He knows that tension is natural, but distance is dangerous. So even when emotions rise, he resists the urge to walk away. He breathes through the frustration, because losing his temper feels easier than losing you. He doesn't weaponize silence, sarcasm, or withdrawal. Instead, he says, "Let's talk," even if his voice is tired. He chooses dialogue over avoidance, because he knows that real love isn't about never arguing. It's about arguing without destroying each other. This kind of communication creates emotional safety. It shows that you can express anger, fear, or disappointment without losing connection. He doesn't see your feelings as attacks. He sees them as invitations to understand you better. And that's the beauty of emotional maturity. He realizes that every storm, if handled with care, clears the air. He's not looking for perfection, just peace. So when he stays, talks, and listens, even when it's uncomfortable, he's saying the most loving thing without words. I choose us, even when it's hard. 15. He shows love through actions when words fall short. When a man is truly serious about you, his love doesn't depend on flowery speeches or constant declarations. It lives in the quiet things he does. He understands that words are easy, but consistency takes heart. So he shows up, not because it's expected, but because it matters. His love is not loud, but it's steady. You'll see it in the way he brings you coffee on a hard morning, checks if you got home safe, or holds your hand in silence when you're too tired to talk. He might not always say, "I love you," but he'll make sure you feel it, in the way he keeps promises, remembers your comfort, or stands beside you when no one else does. This kind of love doesn't need a stage. It thrives in the ordinary, fixing something that broke, remembering the things you like, or staying up late just to make sure you're okay. His affection is expressed through effort, not performance. He doesn't love through grand gestures. He loves through follow-through. When words fall short, actions become the truth. And his truth is simple. You're worth the effort. He may not always know what to say, but he'll never make you doubt how he feels. Because real love isn't about how often he speaks. It's about how deeply he shows up. So when he proves his care in the smallest, most consistent ways, know this. That's not routine. That's love in motion, loyalty made visible, and the clearest sign that his heart speaks your language, even in silence.